All right, so hello, Healing Circle. And for those of you who are not a part of the Healing Circle, hi. Hello, general Capricorn placements as well. So for today's video, this is quite interesting because for this week, um, I don't know, the energies are a little bit complex, let's just say. I think that we are there is this interesting back and forth, let's just say. And for those of you who are part of the inner circle, the energy for this week was also kind of strange. If you are an inner circle member, I'll explain quite briefly what I've got. And the inner circle is my email list. Obviously, it's not just for Capricorn, which would explain the complexities of it. But it was like this energy around power and Capricorn themes as well: power, trust, addictions, where you sit, and where is your darkness in comparison to people around you, and who can you trust, and how you can navigate situations. There is an energy in the air about you putting things together again, things from the past being able to come full circle in the now, closing out chapters, ending old situations. But it is around kind of selfish, me first themes. It's like subtle power struggles in that way. And that was kind of the energy that I got for the collective. Now, again, that's not just Capricorn, that's for the general collective. For Capricorn, however, the energy I have for this week is about feeling better. So it's interesting because it's like bursting through this kind of energy. Like Capricorn has been, the Aquarius full moon was a lot for Capricorn, but it's like bursting through kind of, the image I keep getting is like cracking through your own belly in that way, almost like giving birth to yourself in a sense. But not in through the womb, but literally through the belly. And what sits in the belly, the solar plexus, the sacral, it's this kind of energy of moving through, kind of crawling out of the self in that way. And that's just what I have. That's just how I'm feeling. So I ingest energy. Yeah. It's like, ugh, I can't explain the words as well as I would like to, but it's an energetic feeling. So anyway, and it lightens up this week, but we're going to get a general consensus. Let's ground the energy, which is where the cards help me ground the energy. But yeah, it's good because at this point it's leading you into the Virgo season energy. And Virgo season wants to lighten you up. It's going to give you a lot of pep in your step. Capricorn, it's going to give you this feeling of, almost, yeah, like as if the stagnancy that you've been kind of going through, it's like it gets pushed away and boom, you run like a rocket. There's a fast moving energy that happens during Virgo season, quick moving energy. And we're leading up to that because, August is coming to its end and August ends in Virgo. So Leo season was putting you into the shadow of the 8th house, of course, right? To then burst you out in terms of this Virgo energy. Let's get deeper. Again, welcome to the Healing Circle. For any of you who this is your first time engaging or watching us in the Healing Circle, what's interesting is I just got 2 cards that came out for what the healing points are, the healing energy. And what I like is at the end, we see success being imminent here. And again, something dark transforming into something light, which brings me back to what it is that I felt for the collective energy for the inner circle email, which was this kind of this feeling of something from the past transforms. And it's this renewal of energy, but it's like a subtle power move in that sense, like how you are focusing on yourself, how you are navigating yourself, transitioning yourself through whatever power struggle, power dynamic, again, a me first kind of attitude, whatever it can be. It's like you're bursting through your own belly, like a feeling of either stuckness or it's the best way I can describe it. It's that's kind of how the energy feels. And so it's interesting because in the healing points here, we see something dark now transforming to light. So a release happens for this week. You're feeling better. The energy gets lighter, and it's a divinely, and here we have confirmation with the high priestess, right? This is something that you've known within. It's something that's a deep knowing. So the way in which the energy for this week transitions and transforms, it's something that's unspoken. It's something that you have been waiting for, something you've been waiting on, an energy change that you've been, let's say, waiting to experience. And it's something inside. So again, it's like an energetic, a spiritual shift that happens more than just a practical release. Now, this could be a practical release where something shifts in your love life, something shifts in your financial life, something happens on the outside that breaks you free. But it's not necessarily we breathe from the diaphragm. Oh, hold on. There's some kind of strange connection issue. What is going on? Okay. Sorry about that. YouTube scares me sometimes. But you know how we breathe from our diaphragm. Oh, okay. Some crowds are very loud. We've got the star, we've got the 8 of Wands. We breathe from our diaphragm. And this brings me back into saying these lower chakra energies, right? It's like, because within the diaphragm, you're talking about mostly the sacral. When you're going deep into the belly, you're really awakening your sacral energy and moving through, obviously, your solar plexus energy and its expansion all the way out. And then you breathe deep and you let the breath go, and your body closes all the way in, right? It's like a deep breath in, out, in, out. And that's the release that you feel. Like you can just, it's not necessarily something that's spoken. It's something that's within. So whatever happens on the outside releases a big part of you internally, which is good. It's a nice start to the new season, because I always say all the time, for Capricorn, a lot of the time, their year really begins in September, a lot of the time. Because for a Capricorn, when Virgo season hits, their energy takes a huge shift, and it leads Capricorn into its season in a way that is more, things move quickly, things get more focused, more driven, more ambitious. Capricorn is more familiar in the season of autumn, and it really finds itself during the winter. And regardless of the ins and outs of the winter, right? The hermit energy, the to be in the cave, to be in the darkness of the winter for Capricorn thrives in that. It's like being baked in an oven. And then the fall leads Capricorn into that moment. So it is this, and Capricorn season begins around the winter solstice, which is the darkest day of the year, right? Which is this beautiful, again, this birth, that like a seed being planted into the ground and then allowing itself to be reborn, right? Everything leading up until that point from September on is the fall experience for Capricorn energy. Virgo, what does Virgo represent? Virgo is, because the sun, Leo is the sun, which is, I think, the heart. Virgo is somewhere in the organs. If you can remember, somebody let me know where Virgo is, because I don't remember. And then Capricorn going into the knees. So when you're talking about the way in which the zodiac moves through the body, once you end up in that department, you're moving down into Capricorn energy, and it's very supportive for Capricorn. It's a nice time for Capricorn to have movement. So whereas that stillness and that stuckness that could have been experienced during the summer time period, it's like everything starts making sense again. Now, I'm going to actually start pulling the cards. I apologize. Okay, so for this week, we got the 3 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So we see socializing, we see social dynamics, social connections, social interactions. we go. All right. So, and at the bottom of the clarifying deck, we've got the Queen of Cups. So this is interesting. At the bottom of the tarot, we've got the Three of Cups, and at the bottom of the clarifying deck, we've got the the Queen of Cups. So again, there's a lot tied to emotions, right? And then the Pearl of Sharo is also a water energy for me as well. So this is interesting because for this week, what do we have in terms of energy? We see we've got wands with wands here. We've got the Three of Wands clarified by the Ten of Wands. So again, we're going back into the space, kind of what I was talking about in terms of Virgo energy, because Virgo is your ninth house. And when I'm thinking about the ninth house for you, Capricorn, this is this Three of Wands energy for you, right? Looking out at the horizon, seeing the possibility, seeing what's capable for you, seeing what it is that you can manifest, your desires, your wants, your needs out there into the sky in that way, out there. You're getting close to what it is that you want. So that's the energy that's here. But again, there's a burden tied to it. So it's this feeling of, I know what it is that I want. I know what it is that I'm looking toward, looking to accomplish, wanting to accomplish. But it feels like a burden. It feels like a process. It feels like something that can feel difficult to carry. Now, of course, there is this awareness that what it is that you want is obviously a heavy load. Let's just say something that you have to work toward or carry to get to. But this is not a heavy energy in a sense of it's not dark. It's just more of an understanding. Throughout this week, you get an understanding where it's like, okay, I see what it is that I need. I can name it. I can place it. But I also understand that it's something that's going to require a lot from me. Something that feels, like it's going to take work. But not just the kind of work where we don't see the Eight of Pentacles, where you're just kind of putting your head down and grinding toward it. But it's like, in order to get there, that's heavy. I'm going to have to carry those wands in order to get to the other side of the lake. If you get what I'm saying. Now, next to that, we've got the King of Swords with the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, well, this is not a pair, but it's a couple. The King of Swords, when he finds himself with the Queen of Pentacles, things get very rigid. There aren't very many emotions between the two, but a lot of intellectual understanding, lifestyle understanding. So for you, this is your Queen of Pentacles, as in you are the Queen of Pentacles as a Capricorn, and you also are the King of Swords as a Capricorn as well. So the fact that the King of Swords is being backed up by the Queen of Pentacles, that lets me know that, again, this awareness of your worth, your wealth, what it is that you want for yourself, what it is that you need for yourself, comes into fruition. And when it comes into fruition, it's awakening the part of your mind that says rationality. How do I calculate? How do I create? How do I create through calculation? I need to be clear. I need to be concise. I need to be above my emotional waters. And these two go hand in hand when you're talking about the fact that you realize what it is that you want. There's an awareness of a plan that you want to execute, or desires that you want to execute, wants, needs that are out there, right? Or out there. It's like, okay, I see my ships. I need to go get those ships. And the way that I get those ships is through calculation of mind. I have to be clear. I have to be concise. I have to put myself first. I have to be aware of my wants, needs, desires. There also becomes an awareness of your worth, right? And as you become aware of your worth, this is what puts you back into a space of the calculated mind that Capricorn can take on. Because sometimes I think when Capricorn energy is in its lowest vibration, I think feeling insecure or something along those lines, Capricorn energy can lose its footing in terms of creation, especially when it comes to navigating situations and being clear and concise about what it is that you need. There's an awareness that happens this week that says, okay, I know what I want. I know what I desire. And because I know what I desire, I'm going to go to, and I realize that it is a process to get it. It's time for me to put my thinking cap on. It's time for me to get out of insecurity, to be aware of who I really am here. be aware of what I can really have for myself, especially because we've got Pearl of Sharo. And this one here is backed up by Shekinah. So the divine is in control here when it comes to getting what you need. And you're realizing that, again, dark things are submitting to the light. So as this awareness happens, that things aren't so negative, things aren't so dark, things aren't so hopeless in that way, right? You're not carrying, you don't have to sit in the shadow in that sense. So as that awareness comes to you, you see what it is that you want. You see it out in the horizon. Like I said, you put your thinking cap on, you start to calculate, because when you're aware of your worth, you're not washed away by your mermaid tail, right? Your fish tail as the sea goat, where you can get washed away in your doubts and your emotions, especially for those of you who are more sea goat than you are mountain goat. And I think obviously this channel tends to attract both, but a lot of you tend to be more on the sea goat side. So when you're not washed away by your emotions, you can really go into a space of clarity and calculation and really navigate your situations based on your self-worth and that awareness of who it is that you are. Now, lastly, we see the Hierophant, and this is backed up by the Four of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Pentacles is also you. So you're all over this deck. You're the King of Swords, you're the Queen of Pentacles, you're also the Four of Pentacles. And Taurus energy is the Hierophant. But this is still double earth, because Taurus energy is still the Hierophant and the Four of Pentacles is still an earth energy altogether. But overall, it becomes this awareness of, again, tradition, institution, and what it is that you will keep. You can be up against, again, for a lot of this feels practical. I'm not going to say business, because it doesn't necessarily have to be business per se, but it definitely feels like a practical obstacle or an awareness of your practical life, the practicalities of your life. So this could be, legal matters. It could be home, family, what's going on in your day-to-day life, career, the next steps that you're going to take, especially when we're talking about Virgo season, because Virgo season for you can be travel as well, where you're going, where you're living, are you moving, right? So this becomes the thing that you're aware of. And again, this institutional kind of energy and what you will keep to yourself. So some of you can, be in the face of again, some kind of authority figure, but more in an institutional way. If let's say you're going to university and you're saying to yourself, I see what it is that the institution needs from me, but actually I'm going to save, I'm not going to move toward this mode of study. Instead, there's a different way to do this study that's much more cost effective. And it's kind of like you're navigating the system in that way, because you know what it is that you want. And what it is that you want, yes, is something that it's heavy in order to create and generate. And you're willing to do what you need, but you're thinking with strategy, because you're aware that you're this Queen of Pentacles. You're aware that what you have, what you're worth, the value of your pentacles, and what it is that you hold and who it is that you are. And because you are aware that you are the Queen of Pentacles, you're moving very strategic and very calculated in that sense. And it's up against this. This could be a Tarian energy that you guys could feel like you're up against, an authoritative Tarian energy, which can be a person. But again, for a lot of you, it's some kind of institutional situation where you feel like, you know what, I'm going to keep what it is that I have to. How can I navigate this where I can keep most of what I have to myself? That beautiful way in which Capricorn can navigate as the Four of Pentacles, where you'd know not to overspend, and you know how to keep, and you know how not to allow your resources to be drained from you, or you're moving very strategically in that sense, and not allowing yourself to be drained. That's the thing that you become aware of. It's like, okay, that's the goal. The goal is right there. And here is how I'm going to maneuver to that goal, by being aware of who it is that I am and what I have, moving calculated, and keeping as much as I can to myself, preserving my resources as much as I can. Now, at the bottom of the deck, like I said, we have the Three of Cups here, and the Three of Cups was clarified by the Queen of Cups. So a lot of it, like I said, going back to this Hierophant energy, you're maneuvering people. You're definitely maneuvering people. So for a lot of you, this could be a person, it could be Tarian authoritative like person that is around you, that you're maneuvering around, and it is a situation where there's a social kind of navigation that's going on. There's a social dance going on, and it's clarified by the Queen of Cups. So it's not to say, and I definitely, if you're feeling a little too cutthroat with the King of Swords here, it's important to remember, Capricorn, to have compassion for the people around you, to have compassion for the people and situations that are around you, because you're dealing with the Three of Cups energy. Now, sometimes for me, the Three of Cups can be a dramatic like situation, but in this case, I don't believe so. I think it's, especially because it's clarified by the Queen of Cups, it's asking you to be aware of the feelings of others. It's asking you to take a more compassionate route as you get what it is that you need, from the situation. As you don't put yourself in yes, you're going to get what it is that you want. Yes, your eye is on the prize, right? Yes, you're thinking strategically, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that you step out of your emotional understanding, because this emotional understanding, this Queen of Cups energy, do never underestimate your opposite, Capricorn, which is Cancerian energy. Do not underestimate the way Cancerian energy can get what it is that they want without being so brutal, right? Without being so brittle, because here you are with the Queen of Pentacles standing by your normal King of Swords cap, which is calculated above the emotions, thinking of yourself and what it is that you need. Do not underestimate your opposite. You learned this in the beginning of this year, Capricorn, when it came to the first half of 2025. There was a lot going on because Cancer was in Mars. And as Cancer was in Mars before bringing us into the Cancer and Jupiter transit, you learned a lot about how to deal with people and situations through a more emotional lens. Cancer was giving us that opportunity to deal with itself in its detriment in Mars, to prepare us all for the Cancer and Jupiter transit that we're dealing with right now. And that Cancer and Jupiter transit, Capricorn, is really testing you. It's helping you, but it's testing you, because where you want to be the brittle, sometimes brutal, sometimes cold, person, Capricorn, do not underestimate the power of your opposite. You learned this earlier this year, okay? There are ways to deal with people and situations where you can navigate them better, where you can work with people instead of against them, where you can feel what works for everybody in the situation, where you can navigate this Hierophant energy, right? Yes, preserve, be aware of what it is that you need, be aware of what it is that you want, that your ships are on their way. There isn't anything wrong with that, but it's not about going about it in a way that is brutal. It's about going about it in a way that is, again, more Cancerian. You can nurture people and still get what you need. Cancerian energy is also known for being entrepreneurial, just like you, Capricorn, just like you. Cancerian can be just as much of a boss, just as entrepreneurial, just as powerful. Or for those of you who are Capricorn, like myself, more Capricorn artists and things like that, we're still, ambitious as well as deep in that way, right? Cancer is just the same, but it's just Cancer knows how to work with people, all the while still getting what it is that it needs, right? So this is the energy that happens for you this week. And there's an awareness that happens when it comes to that you are better off doing it that way. Before we leave, I will read Pearl of Sharo for you to wrap up here, Healing Circle. And those of you who are not Healing Circle members, yet at least, this is a water energy as well. So this is water, and at the bottom of the deck here, we've got two water energies. So taking responsibility for your experiences empowers you. You are going to resolve an issue through spiritual inspiration and higher guidance. You will rise up in full connection to your spirit and access the wealth of divine treasure. That which has brought darkness into your world shall submit to the light and be transformed. Have courage and commitment to your awakening, for you are precious being and can go far on your spiritual path in this lifetime. So in very simple terms, and obviously Shekinah is about understanding that divine is on your side when it comes to this. And that's the biggest energy, because this awareness comes to you. It's a download that kind of comes to you that says, maybe I should soften my approach, right? Maybe I should learn how to do this a little differently, because it will definitely work in your favor, Capricorn, because you're feeling better, which is good. You're navigating, you see what it is that you want. Yes, you understand that what it is you want is going to be a process, can be a difficult process. It's good to think strategically. It's good to be aware. It's good to self-preserve and keep what it is that you need. Do not allow institutions or a particular person to take too much from you. It's good to navigate, but again, it doesn't have to be so cutthroat. What is dark is already surrendering itself to the light. Taking responsibility also means allowing for kindness. Okay, allowing for necessary, and I know sometimes we think practical matters and kindness don't go hand in hand, right? Career matters and kindness don't go hand in hand. But in this case, it's not about, kindness is not always about softening yourself, but it's about integrity, right? You can do things in a way that is integral, and it'll work in your favor, because this already is submitting itself to the positive. There already is a bright light coming in this week that's going to lead you into Virgo season, where you're feeling more aware, more sharp. You know what you need, you know what to do, you know where to go, basically. And these steps are happening for you, but it's requiring you to really work with people and know how to heal and feel the energies of other people. So that's what I have for you, Healing Circle. I love you so very, very much. And yes, if you have not joined the Healing Circle, that link is found in this bio. So join the Healing Circle so you can see me 3 times a week. Every week I'm here doing live videos in the Healing Circle. And for this week, I tend to try to make suggestions for readings. So I would say for this week, if you're working with me, I would go with a wealth reading and kind of break down whatever's going on in your practical life. Because the wealth reading doesn't necessarily just cover finances. We also can go into legal matters, practical matters, moving, contracts, visas, etc. And what it is that you have going on there, and how you need to maneuver situations where you're doing better with how you're working with people and understanding people and navigating people. You can do more with water, Capricorn, while you yourself are still thinking practically and calculated about what it is that you want. Don't take that approach when it comes to people. It's not necessary. So I love you so very, very much, sea goats, and I will see you for the wheel. Ciao.